They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Hello there. Welcome back to the Warriors Hoopcast. That was a very awkward intro. Don't mind that one. So, just had a game today. We played the Washington Wizards and we took this one pretty easily, 126 to 112. There was no doubt that we were going to win this, really. So let's break that down. The big news, the best big three in basketball right now is back. Call me a base Warriors fan, I do not care. This is the best big three right now. Draymond Green, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are back after a 1005-day long absence. That's when I started my junior year or 11th grade. It's been a while, man. And Draymond, of course, came off the bench. And the last time that happened was Game 3 against the Clippers in the 14 playoffs. Draymond dropped 6 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. The most Draymond-like stat line ever, with a game-high plus 24. That's also a very Draymond-like stat line. The offense looks so much better today. And Draymond's first play of the game was a split action with Kevon Looney, where Steph Curry ran around Kevon Looney for a Draymond shovel pass, and it ended in a splash 3-pointer. That was the best welcome back assist that Draymond could have gotten. But here's where his return did not help us out a bit. Rim protection. Porzingis was not getting boxed out. He got plenty of rebounds and plenty of throwback dunks too. He caught a lot of lobs, so did Gafford. So this part of the game must improve, but calls for celebration. The big three are back, and what a birthday gift for Stephen Curry. Speaking of which, the dude had 47 points on 16 of 25 shooting, 7 of 14 from 3. Monster. Steph, Draymond and Klay, when they shared the court for the brief time that they did, posted an offensive rating of 169.7, shot 69% from the field, 9 of 15 from 3, and plus 23 overall. Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson had 20 each. The issue was that Steve Kerr teased us for the entire game. The game started with Steph and Klay on the floor and Draymond on the bench. And he kept configuring, putting Klay and Draymond and Steph and Draymond. And finally, I think in the second quarter, we got to see them play, all of them together. And that was a moment, man. The crowd was loud. The crowd was loud the entire game. Absolutely loved to see it. A decade in the Bay now for the three of them. And I hope we get to see more banners as well. Now, Steve Kerr has received a lot of heat for using different, sometimes dumb lineups to start games and especially finish games. It's just a chess match. You have to configure your rotations before the playoffs start, because by then you would know your weapons well. You would know what works against what kind of teams. That's what he's doing. I don't think he deserves the amount of heat that he's getting, given that many 2-3 losses came because of his bad rotations. But it's just an experiment and it'll be over soon. There's very few games left for the playoffs. So expect to see solid rotations and hopefully a 12-6 Steph minutes plan. Yeah, that's about it there. Fun fact, we're the only other team now with at least one win against all of the other 29 teams. The other team that belongs to this list is of course Phoenix, because they've been blazing through all kinds of competition the whole season. But we are 2-1 against them. So yeah, that's one thing. Fact number 2. With Draymond on the floor, Steph in 15 minutes had 41 points, 13 of 16 field goals and 7 of 9 from 3. In 15 minutes. That's crazy to think about. I can't really wait for Steph, Klay, Draymond, Poole and Looney or Otto Porter Jr. line up in the playoffs, which is a great mix of offense and defense. The West just got shakier with Draymond's return. Our next game, we play the Celtics, the hottest team in the league, 18-4 their last 22 games. which will be a tough one, which may be a slow game as well, but hopefully something bails us out and we take that one as well. Now, the MVP race has been altered yet again as the Sixers and the Nuggets faced off. To watch this, I had to wake up at 5 a.m. Appreciate the grind, guys. Follow me everywhere. And the Nuggets took this one 114 to 110. And this game was a thriller from start to finish. The Sixers started hot, hitting all the threes that they took. But Denver kept pushing. They never gave up. They cut a 15 or 17 point lead, if I'm not wrong, to 5 at halftime. And in the end, ended up winning this by 4, holding the Sixers to less than 23 points for 2 quarters. Side note, Cousins laughing at Harden after the foul was hilarious. I don't think anyone respects Harden in the league now. And the big story from this game, quite big, literally big. Jokic versus Embiid. This would be a matchup that would alter the MVP race, and in my opinion, it really didn't. Because Jokic had a very good game, 22, 13 and 8, and they won. But Joel Embiid had more impressive numbers of 34, 9 and 4, and they lost. That's a tie for me, really. And I've always had Jokic on top of my MVP rankings, and he remains there for me. Now, Joel Embiid looked explosive in the first quarter, and he was cooking Jokic in the first. He hit a step back 3 against them, he pump faked him and rolled to the rim for an explosive dunk. But then Jokic slowly caught up. If not for 1v1 prowess, he caught up with his glamorous passing. One of his patented full court passes to, it was Will Barton, if I'm not wrong. He threw one to Will Barton, zapped it, one-handed rebound, throw it to the front court, and Barton finished with a dunk. And of course, got the rebound, got the ball up transition, and looked to his left and slyly put it forward for Jeff Green, who finished it with a slam. Gorgeous assist. He had Kevin Durant tweeting out praises for him. You know you're good when KD is tweeting about you. Dimes all throughout the game. He threw dimes. Yeah, but the MVP ranking is still the same. Jokic at first, and pick your poison routine Giannis, and Joel Embiid at second. Fun fact. All the Denver starters were negative in plus minus today. But the Denver bench is what led them to victory, as they outscored the Philadelphia bench 48 to 14. The biggest story in that is Bones Highland, the same guy that was forced to jump out of a 2-story building because of a fire and injured his knee very badly. He had scouts telling him that he won't make it to the league. And there he is today, out on the floor in the fourth. And he was 4 of 5 from 3-point land in the fourth for 12 points. And these weren't easy shots, these were deep, 26, 28 footers. And he finished the game with 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Bones won them the game. And it was incredible to watch. The dude morphed into Stephen Curry out of nowhere. And this is unfortunately Philly's second F-up in an important narrative-bearing game. And I mean, it's drama for me. I'd take it all in if that happens again. But for the Philly fans, this should raise some questions about the playoffs. But all in all, I don't regret waking up at 5 a.m. to catch this game, because it was a banger. Now, some other stories across the league. The Cavs beat the Clippers in overtime, 120 to 111 behind the very possible Rookie of the Year, Evan Mobley, scoring 36 and 1, and Darius Garland added 24, 13 and 2. I remember getting into an argument with a Twitter user about how Mobley was the clear favorite for Rookie of the Year, and his argument was that Cade has been having a very good 3.5 months, and right on cue, Mobley decided to show up. So, hey, he's my Rookie of the Year. The Hawks beat the Blazers 112 to 113 behind a 46-point performance and 12 assists by Trae Young. The last 2 games he has put up 93 points and 17 assists at 55% shooting and 50% from 3. This man is ice cold, and it sucks that the Hawks' record is bad, or else he'd be talked about so much more. The Hornets beat the Thunder 134 to 116. Miles Bridges had 27, Terry Rozier had 30, LaMelo Ball had 21. And for the Thunder, SGA had 32. He's been averaging 30 points, 7 assists and 6 rebounds over his past 10 games. Just putting it out there. SGA is going to take a massive leap next year. The Wolves, one of the biggest stories of today. The Wolves beat the Spurs 149 to 139. You heard that right, and it's not an overtime game. This game had a total of, how quick is my math? 288 points. And it did not go to overtime. Cat had 60 points and 17 rebounds this game. He had 56 through the third quarter. He was on fire and he hit 7 threes again. The self-proclaimed greatest shooting big man of all time, which I don't see an argument for anyone else. So it may just be true. He earned a game score of 47.3, which he tied Kobe for the 65th best game of all time. You see how good the NBA is. A 60 and 17 game is only the 65th best game of all time. The Wolves warded off 34 by Keldon Johnson and 30 points and 12 assists by DeJounte Murray for this amazing win for them. They are 8-1 their last 9 games, and they are pushing for the 6th seed. And we might see the Wolves in the playoffs first round. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. The Bulls lose to the Kings. What? Why did the Bulls lose to the Kings? 112 to 103. De'Aaron Fox had 34, 6 and 6, and this was enough to beat 21 by DeMar, 23 by Vooch, and 27 by Zach LaVine. The Bucks beat the Jazz at Utah, and this was for the first time since 2001 that Milwaukee won a basketball game at Utah. Weird stat, right? Donovan had 29, 6 and 8. Conley had 29, 2 and 7, and these two were very well outplayed by Giannis, Jrue and Chris. Giannis had 30, 15 and 4, just casually dominating competition. Jrue had 29, 4 and 7, and Chris had 23, 3 and 4. This was a game that Donovan Mitchell could have changed in the clutch, but he's been playing terrible in the clutch for this season. And if that doesn't change, the 4th seed is up for grabs for the Mavericks. I think on the standings, the Mavs and the Jazz are tied for the 4th seed. So expect Dallas to catch up and take the 4th seed pretty soon. And your daily loss report of the Los Angeles Lakers. They take an L to the Raptors, 114 to 103. LeBron had 30 for this game, and at this point, he just should go for the scoring title. There is no more purpose to this season for the Lakers anymore. And Gary Trent Jr. had 28, Siakam 27, and Scotty Barnes had a good 21-point outing. That's all the games from today, and that's it for today's episode. I am recording very late at night, so I'll keep for this one short. Follow me everywhere. All the links are on Spotify and YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, and I shall see you on the next one.